representational because they represent like exactly what they are. They don't have any illusion of being anything else.
Right.
Exactly. They're pure abstraction.
But they're all, I mean, yeah,
They
but
still
they're also
are
like,
formulaic. They are a formula.
oh, okay.
As opposed to, you know, going to your painting of the, you know, the uncle with the beer bottle, which I want to see before. That's coming from it's your
Well, it represents
you're
something
evoking something like when someone reads a poem and they're like, and all this stuff clicks in your mind and your imagination.
Poems are all driven by rules. You might not even be able to articulate the rules.
No, they're not.
Yeah, they are. I write them, Bart.
Imagination.
Well, but what you have is, but the imagination is constantly suggesting this word or that phrase based upon a sort of idea of what works, and it's rejected on the basis not of some prior intent, but whether it works in the poem while you're writing it. And what happens is that you may get to a completely different. You write a poem you had no idea you were going to write.
Sure.
That's the one that works.
But it can't.
So when somebody asks you what it means or anything, it's kind of like, well, it means what it is.
But the rules came out of the.
It comes out of sensitivity of language.
Okay, but the poem demanded the rules.
Yeah, that's
not
what I'm
the
saying.
formula. The imagination and what it evoked came before the rules.
But it's always in response to circumstances, my point. And circumstances are always driving. Usually it's a lack. Those images that I did on the computer that you like so much were all about my lack of mastery of this Etch-a-Sketch thing and what I was doing, and that was driving the result, which ends up being interesting. But if I'd known what I was doing, it wouldn't have been nearly as interesting.
That's where that's now coming full circle, where it's now a formula.
Well, the formula is kind of not knowing where you're going when you start.
Oh, I think he knows exactly where he's going.
Oh, let me put that differently. Not knowing how you're going to get there.
It's a formula. It's great joy and great skill, John. I will never undermine your skill.
Oh, it's definitely a formula.
Yeah. As opposed to every painting.
Well, I was going to say that.
Every painting is discovery, investigation, and what am I doing? So I want to go back to your very first line where you said the complexity, all those colors to choose from is where you started, and then you said, I was at quite a dead end.
Mm-hmm.
And then you said to Tom, hang on, I realize I can't talk and paint at the same time. What, that's a dead end that there's not one single painter that doesn't have those moments. And of deep doubt of what am I doing, even at the level of talent. I mean, you take someone like David Sally or Eric Fischler, you're right up there with those guys. They just happen to make their money in the flush 80s, but.
Back to work?
Yeah, I'll talk to you later.
Okay.
All right. See ya.
Thanks, Tom.
Oh, you didn't? Okay. Deshaun, you need a ride?
I'm parked right by Leah's, or I think that's the place.
Oh, you have a car?
Yeah, yeah.
I thought he picked you up.
What time is it, by the way?
Bye, Tom.
12.
Oh, that's fine. I don't go to work till 3.
So you're clearly aware. I mean, so I'm certainly not questioning your intent. You're clear about your intent. And maybe it's what Andy Warhol at some point said, marketing, I gotta market these. Because he started out drawing shoes, I think, for a shoe store. And they were, I don't know if you've ever seen any of his early work, but they were just wonderful drawings. And striving. very prolific. I know you've got a stack of 10 or 20 figure paintings back there, which are, they're puzzles. Sometimes you have to sit and look at them for days or weeks and say, how am I going to resolve this painting? Painting is hard, and anybody who says it isn't, or that may, they're kidding themselves. It's very hard. But there's clearly great joy I see in what you're doing too. And as Tom said, they don't demand much of the viewer. He said, no, they give, and I think there's certainly something to be said for that. And finding a venue. It's not going to be a gallery. It's going to be Fairhaven Furniture. A new set of rugs you just got in from Afghanistan. Surely you want one of these paintings, maybe 5 of these paintings, to go with that new.
Well, it would be nice to come up with 2 or 3 formulas that I could make easily, and that way somebody could buy 3 paintings from me, and they wouldn't have to all be the same. But right now, I'm just like I said, there's an infinite number of 2-color combinations that you
Just
can make.
flowers.
Yeah.
He spent how many decades with his students saying we're just going to investigate putting kites together.
Yeah. I think it's a nice way to deal with color, just 2 at a time.
It's a great way.
How did you come up with the idea in the first place? Do you remember?
I had a picture in my mind of interpenetrating forms that would be that would sort of dissolve into each other, but the effort to make them dissolve was too well, I had this job working as a carpenter, and I think of the people who hire me, generally speaking, as my enemies, and
We won't name him.
I am revolted by their values and their expectations, and I found the sort of preciousness that was required to get these things to sort of dissolve into each other. I was using this term like a bourgeois affectation, and I just wanted to strip the process back as simply as possible. So they went from being these sort of raggedy, clunky things that kind of dissolved into each other to something that was just as absolutely direct as possible, with the idea that if that was the rule, that they just had to be as direct as possible, then there wouldn't really be any need to judge if they were good or bad. I could just go from one to the next. It wouldn't be a question of, oh, that's a really good one, or that's a really bad one. It's like, well, there's one and there's another one. That's how they became prongs, or cocks, or whatever you want to call them.
Well, when Tom explained to me the title, I just assumed it was his sense of humor coming through. The title would be arbitrary, and that it was closer to just what you were talking about the doing of it.
Mm-hmm.
But of course, with everything he says, you don't know if there is part of that.